Hello.
There you are. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
That's good. It's good to see you.
Yeah, me too. So, how is my voice, and is it smooth?
Yes, it's good. How can you hear me okay?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
I got a new webcam, so I'm testing out the microphone.
It's clear. The voice, your voice, and your image is okay. It's good. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. I think you were at my first lesson, right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And I haven't.
Yeah,
Have you been busy?
Yeah, a little bit.
What do you do during the day?
I went to school and deal with the final stage to get my PhD certification, and then I went to took a vaccine.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your PhD on?
Oh, material science.
Material science.
Yes.
How can you explain that to me?
Okay. So it's a simple thing that you use it every day.
Yeah.
The mobile phone, the smartphone, it is it is made by many materials like the glass, the polymer, and
Plastic.
metal.
And,
Yes. Yes.
okay.
Yeah. So I study the materials, including the metals and semiconductors.
Wow. What made you decide to do that?
To be a scientist.
Okay. So
Yeah.
are you working at the moment?
No.
No. So just your PhD.
I just got my PhD.
Okay.
I mean the
So
dissertation defense I just passed.
okay. So did you get it already, or do you still need to
Yes.
pass? Oh,
Yeah,
you got
already.
it.
Yes, already. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's a lot of work.
Yes.
I
Yes.
have my master's degree in law. But it was lots of typing, like
Yes.
type your book.
So,
It's hard work.
Yeah, and I feel for the law and for the economics or for the politics, I feel these fields are very difficult because I don't know how to say it, because students like you have to survey a lot of informations from people. I mean, in public or in the internet, you have to do some survey, and I don't know how to write an essay or how to write a thesis to complete the master degree or the PhD. It's a big machine. It's a huge machine. It's a difficult machine to. Yes, difficult mission.
Yes. It is. Let's see, another student joined. Hello.
Yes.
Is it Aisha?
Oh yeah, Ellen. Yes, my name is Aisha. Nice to see you. And hi, Ken.
That's great to have you both here. We were just discussing Ken's PhD and how much work goes into that. It's very impressive, actually. So what? How have you been busy today, Aisha?
Yes, actually, I did two interview today because I was undertaking the job seeking period for this month. So I have so many interviews for the whole process. Yeah. So
Wow.
finger crossed. I hope I can get a great result.
Wow. And how did it go?
Actually, I'm not pretty sure because like the interviewer didn't give me like very positive answer, but he's like, oh, I will let you know on next week if we give you the follow notice, you're gonna to have another 2 rounds of the interview. I was like, okay, so because like so far, I think at least I had like more than 10 interviews. Although it's all online, but it's still took a lot of time, took a lot of effort on it.
And it's stressful. You're probably stressed the whole time during the interview. Hey?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
You're on your nerves, as you would say.
I would say that at the first stage of the interview, I was so nervous, but after like more than 5 interviews, I was like, okay, I get this. I knew it, but I still didn't get an offer yet. But
yeah, and it's very frustrating when they don't like give you any kind of clue or a hint if they are interested or not. You know, when they just say, "Oh, thank you," and then I'll chat to you later, then you don't know anything. And that's just as frustrating.
it was very frustrating because they always just sent me like a thank you letter, which is very official. Like they didn't like list the reasons. Like even though I replied like, oh, may I know why I'm not suitable for your company, but they won't reply me. So it was very frustrating, but I have to like pull myself together and encounter all the setbacks. I have to go again, like apply again, because I definitely have to get a job.
Yeah. Are you applying for any kind of job or is it all the same?
Oh, because I just quit as a flight attendant, so now I want to change my career. I want to be like a HR recruiter or like a headhunter. So basically, it's help the company to recruit the candidates. Yeah, I think they focus on if I have a relevant experience, but actually I didn't. I think that's the main reason I didn't get a job.
Okay. My cousin is actually a flight attendant.
Oh.
She works for KLM, which is the Dutch airline.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So she said it's, with COVID, it's very difficult and there were a lot of people that were retrenched. So yeah, she said there's so many people that lost their jobs and she's very lucky she's still there, but they're not flying as much as what they used to. So at the moment, it's a very difficult industry to get into, I think.
Exactly the same situation here because I didn't get laid off. But I volunteered to quit because my company offered us like a volunteer package, which is not bad, but not good enough. But I think it's great. I still can get amount of money. And at least because like the terminate contract I will get is not I be laid off. It's quite different. So it's like, okay, I quit it. So it's very different if I interview with another company. They will say, oh, are you like be laid off? Well, why you leave this company? So I will say, oh no, I quit by myself. because the mindset is totally different.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, well, I hope you get some feedback soon.
Thank you.
But I think getting into the HR is a bit easier, especially with COVID. So, okay. Let me get to my, where was it? Okay, let me just, yeah, this is only my, I think my third lesson. So I'm still trying to, oh, there we go. Oh, I think that is our stand-in person. Okay, I go to our share screen and we can watch our video that we got for today. Yeah, I just wanted to write in here, what's the word that I use? Retrenched. Right? Oh my goodness. I can't see my retrenched. There we go. Yeah. If you didn't know, that was the word I used. Okay, so today's topic is quite a weird one. I don't know if you guys saw on the timetable. It's a day in the life of a Roman soldier. So, oh well, let's start. Okay, I've put on the subtitles for you guys, and then I'll make it full screen. You must just let me know if the sound is okay. Sometimes people can't hear it. Is that good? Can you hear?
The year is 15 CE, and the Roman Empire is prospering. Most of the credit will go to the emperor, but this success wouldn't have been possible without loyal soldiers like Servius Felix. Servius enlisted as a legionary 8 years ago at age 18, the son of a poor farmer with few prospects. Unlike the majority of legionaries, he doesn't gamble, so he's been able to save most of his wages. He's even kept his viaticum, the 3 gold coins he received when he enlisted. If he survives until retirement, he'll receive several acres of land, and he's grown rather fond of a girl back home whom he intends to marry. But he'll have to wait until he completes his 25 years of service before that can happen, and the life of a legionary is dangerous and grueling. Today, Servius's legion, along with 3 others, has undertaken a great march of 30,000 Roman paces, the equivalent of nearly 36 kilometers. Servius's armor and weapons, including his gladius, scutum, and 2 pila, weigh over 20 kilograms. And that's not counting his backpack, or sarcina, which contains food and all the tools he needs to help build the camp: spade, saw, pickaxe, and basket. Although Servius is exhausted, he won't sleep much tonight. He's been assigned the first watch, which means looking after the baggage animals and keeping alert against a possible ambush. After he's done, he lies awake, dreading the day ahead, which will force him to recall his worst nightmare. At dawn, Servius eats breakfast with his 7 tent scars from the battles they've fought together. Servius is from Italia, but his fellow soldiers hail from all over the empire, which stretches from Syria to Spain. So they're all far from home in the northern land of Germania. Servius's legion and 3 others with him today are under the command of Emperor Tiberius's nephew, Germanicus, named for his father's military successes against the Germanic tribes. Each legion has close to 5,000 men, divided into cohorts of about 500, further subdivided into centuries of around 80 to 100 men. Each century is commanded by a centurion. An aquilifer, or eagle-bearer, marches at the head of each legion, carrying its eagle standard. The centurions march beside the legionaries, belting out orders: dex, sin, right, left, starting with the right foot, as the left is considered unlucky or sinister. Despite the strict discipline, there's tension in the air. Last year, some legions in the area revolted, demanding better pay and a cut in the length of service. Only their general's charisma and negotiating skills prevented wholesale mutiny. Today is a just march, only 30 kilometers. As the marshes and forests of Germania lie beyond the empire's road system, the men must build causeways and bridges to make headway, something they've recently spent more time doing than fighting. Finally, they arrive at their destination, a place Servius knows too well. It's a clearing on the outskirts of the Teutoburg forest, where 6 years ago, during the reign of the Emperor Augustus, Germanic tribes under their chieftain Arminius ambushed and destroyed 3 legions. Proceeding along a narrow path, the legions were attacked from forest cover under torrential rain, with their escape blocked. It was one of the worst defeats the Romans ever suffered, and Augustus never lived it down. Servius was one of the few survivors. Servius still has nightmares of his comrades lying where they fell. But now the army is back to bury the dead with full military honors. As he helps in the task, he can't help wondering whether the bones he handles belonged to someone he knew. Several times he wants to weep aloud, but he pushes on with the task. The glory of the empire can go to the crows. All he craves is to retire on a small farm with his wife-to-be, if the gods should spare his life for 17 more years. If you want to learn more about the hopes, dreams, and daily trials of life in ancient civilizations, check out our Day in the Life playlist. You can also support our nonprofit mission.
Okay, did you guys hear that okay?
Yeah.
Here? No. Did you ever notice this little translator at the bottom doesn't always spell the right version? Like I say here, but like here with my ear, and then the translator at the bottom says here, as in like here. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
It's not a very good translator, actually, the Zoom one. But the new one that we got for the videos is quite handy. I don't know if you guys have noticed. Okay, so that was an interesting video. Not something that I would normally watch, just for interest's sake, but something that I noticed as soon as they started talking was they said 15 CE. And I learned today that you can say CE instead of AD, and then BCE is what? BC, I think. Yeah. Did you guys know that? Where do you say, Ken? Do you say AD and BC, or do you guys use CE and BCE?
Almost use AD.
So it's also AD.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Do you guys know what CE stands for?
Central?
No, it actually stands for, wait, I actually Googled it. CE.
If I see CE, I will think it is 15th century.
Yes, I think they started using it around that time. It's the Common Era. So AD would be, it's Latin for Anno Domini, which means in the year of the Lord. But so for the people that aren't religious, they then use CE instead of saying AD. I never knew that because in South Africa we only say we say AD or we say BC. So I think it's BC, right? I think we use I think they use BCE. So then you can also use BCE, which is quite interesting, I thought. Anyway. Hang on, let me just try and move this. So if I just say BC, I wonder if it'll translate it correctly. Is that, what would that translate to, BC and AD? Is that right?
This is
BC.
right, but AD is wrong.
Okay. I wonder why. Like you would say 16 AD.
Yeah.
Would that make more sense? Okay.
Yes.
If I say 15 BC.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is interesting. But then if I say 16, wait, BCE, what is it this exactly? Is it the same? It is.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the same. That's interesting. 16. So the other one is common error. Yeah. Oh, that was interesting, I thought. Don't you guys think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then I saw some questions at the bottom here, which I thought was quite interesting. So I'm sure back in those days, being a soldier was very stressful. You were always worried about getting killed. What was I going? There was something that I read here. At what age do you think it's okay to be a soldier, Aisha?
I think in Roma era, I think probably 15.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think then it was 18. Yeah, here we go. Anyway,
Okay.
this particular guy was 18. I'm not sure if you were allowed to enlist earlier. I'm not sure. And Ken, do you think you should be a certain age to be a soldier?
Officially, when a man or when people is 18 years old, maybe he has to be a soldier. But I feel if the people can take the weapon, he can be the soldier
Yeah.
to protect
Do you think,
his land.
yeah. Do you guys still have soldiers where you stay? Where do you stay, Ken?
I'm in Taiwan. So in Taiwan, we have to be the soldier. Yeah, and so the normal age is 18 years old. But some people, when they graduated from the junior high school, and then they will enter the soldier school. So at that time, they have been the soldier, but they are a student.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's
yeah.
And you're in Taiwan, right?
Yes, in Taiwan. Yes.
So is that the same everywhere? Is that also the same in?
Different. So you mean in Korea, Japan, Taiwan, Thailand, or China? We are different in the soldier system. Yeah. In Taiwan, new rules for the soldier. They just need to stay in the what's that, in army for 1 year, and in Korea they have to stay there for 2 to 3 years. So we are different, and I don't know in Japan. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aisha,
is it the same there by you? Where do you stay?
Also from Taiwan, but I think
okay.
What Ken said is not pretty accurate. I think nowadays the military service is less than 1 year. I think nowadays they only serve for 10 months. So Ken, do you went to the military already? Well, you are going to? after you graduate?
Oh, I have finished the military service, so I don't need.
Oh, you don't
do
need
this.
to. Okay.
Yeah,
So you are
yeah.
an exception. Okay.
Yes.
So
yes.
so basically the military service in Taiwan is a mandatory service. So every adult man have to serve the military for our country. But there are a lot of exceptions. I'm not sure what happened to Ken, but you definitely have your reason. You don't need to say. And it's much more easier compared to the service before. So the men, they feel like they just joined a summer camp instead of very tough exercise like were training. They feel like, oh, I just like went to a camp. I knew a lot of people. Yeah, probably, yeah, a little bit exercise, but it's okay. It's a totally different story from Korea was Singapore, and in Japan there's no mandatory military service. So for the soldiers, they volunteer to join, but for normal people, they don't need to serve it.
Okay. That's so interesting. I'm not clued up about that at all. My husband is very interested in soldiers and the army and, you know, the navy, and he's very interested in that sort of thing. I have no idea what's what with every country, but in South Africa it's voluntary, but it never used to be. We used to have it was called prescription, and then when you were finished school, so you were about 17 or 18, possibly 19 if you didn't do so well at school, then you would go to the army. That's what we call it here, the army. And then you would have to, I think, stay there for a year. So it was just 1 year and you had no choice. Do you guys think it's a good thing? It's when you finish school to join, because it teaches you a lot about yourself and discipline, or did you think it's a waste of time, Ken?
Yeah, it is not the waste time. It doesn't waste time because in the soldier there are many different kinds of people from different places. So it looks like a small society. So we can meet different people and then we can make friends. Because some people are older than 20 years old, and some people are older than 30 years old, and some are just 18 years old. So the range, the age range is very different, and the different people in different age has different idea and has different concept, and so we can learn from those people. When I was in the military service, yeah. So I think it doesn't waste time, but it depends on the different people. Yeah.
So you think so it depends for you.
Yeah, I think I can learn different things.
Yeah.
During that time, but some people doesn't think about it. They just think they waste time because they can use, because in Taiwan we have to spend at least 1 year, and now maybe 10 months, but they cannot do anything in there. So they think they waste time because if they are in outside, and then they can make money, they can do the other things.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Aisha, do you think it's a waste of time?
Well, because as a female, I don't have a right to judge on this issue. But I think like Israel, like both men and female, they all serve the military service. I could see it's have a great way because even for female, we could also learn how to use weapons because if the situation between like Pakistan and Israel is very tension, but actually the situation between Taiwan and China is very tense too. So I think it's not a bad thing that female to learn how to use weapon uh, and be trained. So, but actually, I couldn't say. Oh, yeah, if female should definitely serve the military service because it's not fair. It's not fair because I didn't go through this experience. So I would say, uh, if our country want to practice this kind of military service both on women and men, I would support it.
Okay. I didn't know that only males could enroll over there. So do the women not have a choice? They're not allowed.
Oh, they can do the voluntary military service, but it's not mandatory for us.
Okay. So it's very
Yeah.
different. So what do the women do then? If the men are military, what do the women do?
Actually, they do the same thing. Yes.
Oh,
yes. Some
It's
of-
just not called.
I think some of the female they are like they become the captain or general. Yeah, they also could achieve very high level, but it's quite few.
Okay. In South Africa, it's the same for men and women. So you can volunteer and you will basically be treated exactly the same. You have the same kind of ranks. Wait, let me write that down here. You have the same ranks. I don't know if that's the right word that they would use. Let's see what it has here. Front. Yeah, not really alignment. But women and men, yeah, get treated quite equally over here. So you can also become a whatever is the highest, a captain, or you can become whatever, regardless of whether you are male or female over here. It's just South Africa, we don't really pick a fight with anybody. So no one is really interested in going into the army. That's army. I think it's the same in America. I think they also say army.
Yeah.
But I think we're quite a peaceful country.
That's nice.
So we don't really, we don't have many people interested in learning how to use to use weapons and whatnot. So and then I think military, is that how you spell it? Military. Yeah. Okay. It's the same. If I look at the symbols of the Chinese, I can see they look exactly the same. So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting. I like to see the different ways of the symbols, and you can actually see it's the same word. It's quite interesting. I love different kinds of spelling. I was chatting to Weston last week, and we were talking about the different spelling between American English and British English. Sometimes the spelling is different, and then it's difficult for people to understand it, especially people trying to learn English. It's like you can spell something and you'll think it's right, but then depending on if you are in America or in Britain, it can be wrong. So it's very difficult when you're learning how to write English. If you're trying to figure out now which one is the right way to spell it. For example, if you write color,
Yeah.
we spell it like that. And you guys do too, right?
Yeah.
And then in America, they spell it like that. So if we had to write color in South Africa like that, we would get marked wrong. So if I'm writing an essay, they will say, no, that's not wrong. I mean, that's not right. So it's difficult. I think English is very confusing sometimes.
Yeah, it's very confusing because I stayed in Hong Kong for 7 years, just like Western also from Hong Kong. So
Yes.
when you write color, I didn't feel like, oh, it's wrong, because like Hong Kong people, they tend to use the British English, but in Taiwan,
Okay.
Taiwanese people try to learn American English. So the second one is actually the Taiwanese people will learn how to spell color, the second one. So, but on the first side, I didn't realize the first one you mentioned. You say, oh, probably it's not correct, because I got used to see that, because like in Hong Kong, it's a proper way.
Yeah, it is. And then there are other ones as well, is behavior.
Yeah.
We'll have with the U, and then behavior, or yeah, is it like that? Yeah, it's like that. So we will always add the U.
Mm.
And then if we spell it like that, yeah, it will be marked wrong. So, and it's also difficult. I'm sure you guys find that if you're listening to music, say from American music, you know, their lyrics are all spelled in the American way. So sometimes, yeah. So Ken, if you were writing your PhD, like your thesis, is it called a thesis?
Yeah, thesis or dissertation.
Oh yes, dissertation. Yeah, I think in a master's degree it's a thesis. And yeah. Do you have to write it in can you write it in Chinese, or does it have to be in English?
Write in Chinese.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
is there different ways to spell things in Chinese? Like in English, we've got these ones that are confusing. Is it all the same?
Yeah, in Chinese we use the same word.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's so much
in
easier.
English and British. Yeah. It's much easier than write English.
Yeah.
I think it's quite different, because like in Taiwan we use traditional Chinese, but in China they use the simplified. So in Taiwan we only use traditional one, so basically only one way. But for other countries, they see us, well, they will think, oh, our way is different. Our Chinese writing is different from China. So I think that's still different, because most of foreigners, they learn simplified Chinese. So in the whole world, only Hong Kong and Taiwan use traditional one. And I assume Hong Kong will turn to abandon traditional Chinese very soon.
That's quite sad,
It's
actually.
very sad. So, well, I would say, oh, we are the only one to use the traditional one. So, but probably in the future, foreigners, pop word like the midnight Chinese, they always think our writing is wrong, but we also see them as a wrong too.
Yeah. Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah, we don't obviously have that in South Africa. Everyone just speaks the same English. Just sometimes with different accents or dialects. I think that's the same word. Accent or dialect. Is that the same? No, different. Sort of similar. But in South Africa we all speak English. And then there's obviously all the different smaller groups of like the Zulus and the other cultures that we have here. But basically everyone speaks the same English, which is quite interesting. There was something else that I saw here. Oh yeah, it was here. This is what we discussed already. Do you think women soldiers should be allowed to do everything men soldiers do? Oh, so the other one that I wanted to ask you guys is, why do you think so few rich teenagers become soldiers? Ken?
Oh, rich teachers. But in Taiwan, everyone need to be a soldier. So in our policy, we are not the volunteer system.
Yeah.
So we have to do the service, the military service. Even he is a rich teenagers.
Okay. So is there no
maybe this question is for
American?
Yeah. Yes. So for them, I think they don't need to be the soldier because they have no time to be a soldier.
Yeah.
They have to spend their time to make money.
Do you guys get paid at all?
Yeah.
Like any kind? Oh, okay.
Yes,
Okay.
but not low pay, not higher pay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are there any exceptions? Exceptions. People who are not allowed to volunteer. Say now, like in Europe, they'll probably have, like, I don't think royalty don't have to join. Like the king and queen's kids, I don't think they need to join. Do you guys have any exceptions?
Oh yes, like if you are disabilities or if you have like shorter eyes, it's very heavily, like more than 1,000 degree, you could be the accepted for the military service. And for the double nationalities, if you have two passports, for those kind of people, they will always use the foreign passport enter Taiwan, and like they will like stay for 3 months and try to go aboard again. Maybe they just do a 1-day trip, like to Hong Kong for 1 hour and go back. Like they just try to avoid the military service, because if they use the Taiwanese passport, the system will locate it. It will like spot like, oh, you haven't served the military service. You have to. So there are a lot of techniques to escape from the military service.
Okay, I didn't know that about the passports. That's clever.
It only happens in Taiwan because very few countries allowed that double nationalities. We are the very few of them.
Okay. Yeah, I think we have that in South Africa as well. You can have 2 passports. I think you can have more, actually. I don't know if people used to do that back in the day when we had to do it, but probably, I'm sure they probably did. So yeah, I suppose, like Ken said, that the question is more for Americans, probably Europeans, probably South Africans as well. But I wonder if they were probably not paid much. And so if you were rich, maybe your parents could buy you out of, joining the military.
Well, actually, I pretty agree. If you are from a very rich family, they always could find a way to avoid it, because they can hire a doctor to give you the dialogue like, oh, because you have what kind of disease, so you could be the exception from military service because they are rich, they can do whatever they want. But for poor family children, they have no choice to go. But actually, we also have a volunteer system to enter military, and their pay is not too bad. I would say compare some of other jobs, it's not too bad. Or for example, like if you could join like Air Force, I think they get pretty good pay. But
Oh, yes.
because they are very strictly selected from the Air Force school, because so for those students like join the military maybe just after graduated from junior high school, so they train from on their very young age. So I'm pretty sure they can promote it to very high level like journal, and they can get a great retirement payment, and they retire maybe just around 30-ish.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's young.
yeah, exactly.
That's definitely worthwhile. Wow, yeah. Are you allowed to stay in the military? Can you be any age and be in the military?
Sorry, I, I didn't hear your question.
Are you allowed to be? Can you be any age? Like, can you be really old in the military, or is there a cutoff age? Like, do you have to retire at 50 or 60?
Oh, officially 65 years old. They have to,
65.
yeah, 65.
Wow. Do you think that's
So
quite old?
This is the no, because some are 70 or 72 maybe. They are the general, or they are in the high level position. So 65 is the officially age they have to retire. But so some people are in high level, so they don't need to retire when they are 65. But some are 50 years old and they retired because they have survived for 25 years, so they can retire. So some one of my friend, he was a soldier, and because he is in military for 25 years, so
Wow.
after 25 years, he's just 50 years old. So, but at that time he was retired. So now he has much time to do what he wants to do, like the cycling, hiking, or do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there has no age limit. Upper limit. Yes. So it depends.
Okay.
But the most common situation is 65 years old.
That's interesting. I would think that if you go to war and you're 65, you might not make it.
But I think it's different situation, because if he is 65 years old, he must be very experienced and
And fit. Like fit.
No, experience. He
And
has
experience.
many experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Very.
he also met, or he also has a lot of situations. So he has many ideas and
That's
how to
right.
how to
That's
how to
true.
fix Yeah. So I think 65 years old then in a soldier, and he was in the back, but not in the front.
He'll probably be one of those guys that are they're planning the attack, and they'll be there with their
Yeah.
maps and planning the route that you're going to take.
Yes. Yes.
Definitely not the one riding the horse. And yeah, that's quite interesting. But at least, not that I know of, we aren't at war with anybody at the moment. So yeah, I'm trying to think now. Do you know if America is voluntary? Is it
Yes.
is it voluntary now,
Yeah,
or do you have to serve in America?
you don't need to survey. It's voluntary.
Okay. How do I not know that? I don't-
Maybe you didn't watch enough like war movies.
That's true. Actually, yes. Now that you say that, you always see them in the movies.
Yeah.
Like the girlfriend is trying to stop him from signing up because she doesn't want him to leave. Yeah. Oh, that's true. Actually, I don't think about that. But I never believe everything in the movies because it's not always accurate. But it is interesting. Yeah, I see. Yeah, we have 5 minutes left. So let's see. Let's see. There's not many other interesting questions that I saw. Oh, okay, we can do this one. Do you guys think it's necessary in this day and age? Do you think it's necessary to have the army and the military and all those things? Ken?
Yes. Yeah, I think soldier is necessary because
Why?
it looks like a safeguard.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So they
God.
can protect us.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
If when we live in a community, and then they will set a group of safeguards, and then they can protect the community and the country. I feel the country looks like a community, so all the people live in the community, and then we have some safeguard to protect our life, our properties, our beautiful future.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a very good.
So-
That's a very good point.
Yes.
And Aisha?
Yeah, I think it's definitely necessary because I think they are the extra manpower that only be our safeguard for our country. But when it's encounter like typhoon, for example, typhoon or like a COVID-19, we do require a lot of manpower, like to clean up the streets, to do like a lot of extra cleaning stuff. So I think they are very helpful, and actually we do have a lot of earthquake. Sometimes it's very, very serious. Some buildings was falling up, so they have to save lives as well to clean up all the debris. So I really appreciate what they did.
That's also a very good point. Well, in South Africa, our army and our military aren't used for much, really. If we have like a protest, which we had recently, I don't know if you guys saw it in the news.
Yes.
They protested about our ex-president. He was put in jail. So his followers, his fans, they completely disagreed, and they protested and they burned down some buildings. But the army were quite late. They they already came. They came when the building had already was already gone. And then yeah, they didn't really clean up much. I think they were trying to keep people safe, but it was actually the public, the community that cleaned up. So it was all the people that lived there that helped clean up. So I think our army needs a bit of more training. But yeah, I also think they're very useful. I think they should be doing more though. I think they should do more. So yeah, that is our lesson for today. Is there another one after this that you guys can do?
And yeah, that's the last one.
Okay. I'm never sure. Sometimes there's an event and then sometimes not.
Oh, yeah, listen, like kind of events, but I think not so much people were dropping.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for joining today. And then I will chat to you guys again soon.
Okay.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.